Hello everyone, it's me again, Kitty Cat, and today we're going to read Lumpi and the Adventure of Hansel and Gretel. Let's start. This is Lumpi's ID card. His name is Lumpi, nickname Personal Dragon, type Imaginary Friend, residence Gampy's Village, citizenship Make-Believe World, color I think that's supposed to be blue. Distinguished feature, spit blue flames blow smoke rings from his nose. Pink when he's happy, gray when he's offended, green when he's sad. I think that's turquoise when he's frightened. Orange when he's amused, red when he's angry. At first, he only imagined it. Lots of children do this. Imagining a make-believe friend, a bear, a puppy, another child, a fairy, or even a dragon. Yes, Gampy's imaginary friend was a small dragon. One day, Gampy thought of it very, very hard, and the imaginary dragon really appeared, in flesh, or to be exact, in his scales and ridge. Since then, that is how things stood. Gampy's dad had a PC, personal computer, so Gampy had a PD, personal dragon. His name is Lumpi. His little friend often came to see him, especially when something went wrong. That evening, what went wrong was Gampy's stomach. It was turning the wrong way around, like a crazy Catherine wheel. Blame his greediness. You really asked for it, was that Lumpi shouted. Appeared out of thin air on the rug next to Gampy's bed. The little boy answered by making a face. Mom told you so, the small dragon piled on. And with every word, small flames and sparks came out of his mouth. Gampy reacted. If you hear to just repeat, I told you so, you can go back where you came from, Lumpi. Here is exactly where I am, the place I came from, Lumpi sniggers. And the room filled with the sound of chime bells, which is what dragon's laughter sounds like. As all the experts know, Gampy had far too strong a stomach to understand the dragon's joke. I'm exactly where you imagined me, Lumpi explained patiently. I'm in your head, and there's about 2 pounds of chocolate ice cream in your stomach. Lumpi went on blushing, flames and sparks. Just don't say that word, Gampy whined. Stomach? No, ice cream. It makes me sick. Then I can say stomach, can't I? No, that hurts too much. Well, why did you call me? Gampy looked at his small friend, all deep blue, like the night. Oh, that's what his color is. With his tail and ridge highlight in water green. His yellow paws and huge soft eyes. The dragon was just like how Gampy always imagined him, except his sensitively and smart attitude, he thought unhappily. Come on, just joking, Lumpi grinned. I've come to cheer you up like I always do. You could have fooled me, Gampy mumbled. Where would you like to go? The small dragon asked meekly. Perhaps I'm going to peek. That afternoon, Gampy went to his friend Rachel's birthday party, and Mom already told him not to eat many sweet things. Gampy, anyway, gobbled an incredible amount of chocolate ice cream. Sounds tasty. Which he absolutely adored. Mom scolded him a bit at first, but then seeing how sick he was, she had sighed. I love you, little greedy boy. Then she had cuddled him a bit, put him in bed and left him a glass of sweet, warm lemonade for his upset stomach. But Gampy just couldn't drink that, and from time to time he sighed and moaned. "No use crying over spilled milk," Lumpi pompously said. "What are you talking about? I'm crying over eaten chocolate. I didn't even touch the milk," snorted Gampy. And Lumpi started to laugh again because Gampy didn't understand. Then he explained patiently. "It's a thing. It's useless to moan about something that already happened. But don't think about it now. The best way to feel better is thinking about something else. That's why I'm here." "Are you sure?" "Of course. Take my dragon word for it. On my back now. We're leaving. I already fixed your cushion." That's because Gampy usually ties a cushion on the dragon's back with the curtain ties. Before taking off, the dragon's scales are very hard and sharp, but that soft makeshift saddle would ensure a comfortable journey. "Do fly slowly, please, and no serving, or I'm really going to puke," Gampy urged. "But where are we going?" "If I cannot serve, we're going absolutely straight. Only straight ahead." And Lumpi took off extremely delicately, without swaying, rolling, or leaping. It was a perfect takeoff. Then he flew into the night, midnight blue against midnight blue. It wasn't at all easy to see him, and that was one of the reasons Gampy imagined his own dragon. This way, in case a night escape, often highly used and necessary, Lumpi would be a perfectly camouflage against the sky. "Let's see where we'll end up by going straight ahead. Just straight ahead," the curious little dragon cried. "Let's see," Gampy agreed. His tummy was already feeling better too. He was starting to enjoy the new adventure. Suddenly, after many towns and villages lights, Gampy saw beneath him the dark, vast shadow of the wood and the twinkling of a stream going through it. "Man, Lumpi, wood seems to be an excellent place for an adventure. It's very dark woods," Lumpi pointed out. "You scared the cat of a dragon," Gampy teased him. He didn't remember even imagining a cowardly dragon. Or, on the contrary, he was more than certain that he dreamed up a strong, clever, and bold little hero. From Lumpi's nose appeared small gray milk rings, a telling sign that the dragon was very offended. An offended dragon is never a very pleasant company. And if that happens to be the very moment in which it is landed, the situation is even more disagreeable. Gampy realized that. Or better, Gampy's tummy realized that. With a quick zigzag nosedive, barely mixing tree trunks and branches, I think I swapped that, Lumpi landed with 3 sharp bounds on a clearing in the great woods. So many trees. Gampy let out 3 deep sighs and a small burp. "Are you feeling sick?" Dragon asked, concerned as usual. "Not very well," Gampy answers curtly. "Are you hungry?" "I wouldn't say that. What a pity. Because over there's actually a house that's really remarkable," Lumpi cried out, pointing his tail at a cottage amongst the trees. "That looks like a gingerbread house to me." Gampy only saw a house like that in his book of fairy tales. It was a wonderful cottage made of biscuits with a marzipan roof and chocolate bars windowsills. The chimney was chocolate too, and from the issue of wonderful smoke that smelled of toast almonds and toffee. Gampy had dreamed of really finding a house like that so many times. Why did it have to happen when he was feeling sick and his stomach ached? But then he thought, there's this way really, because he remembered only too well about Hansel and Gretel's story. He knew that the sweet house was hiding an awful surprise. He was about to tell Lumpi, but he was too late. On the biscuit walls were chocolate, sweet strawberries, cherries, and a great big blue raspberry. An extremely rare variety of raspberry that, as everyone knows, dragons, especially blue dragons, have a passion for it. That looks like a witch to me. At the very moment in which Gampy shouted, "No! Don't do that!" Lumpi already sucked up and swallowed all the blue raspberries, and now from his nose issued the pink smoke rings of a happy and satisfied dragon. "Don't be alarmed. I'm not going to get indigestions like you do," Lumpi said to assure his friend. "First, I have a dragon's stomach. Second, unfortunately, these blue raspberries were very, very few. Third, there is a witch," Gampy finished for him, while on the doorway a small bent old woman with a hooked nose and deformed hands with long pointed nails appeared. She needs a crane." "Very, very few," you said, the woman asked, trying to make her cackling voice sweeter. "Come in, sweetie, and I'll give you blue raspberry syrup, blue raspberry tarts, and blue raspberry pudding." This time, Gampy didn't even manage to open his mouth to warn his drag. Lumpi was already inside, and the door was closed again. No one leaves their imaginary friend in trouble of that sort. Gampy threw himself against the door. There's the witch. Came knocking like mad against the biscuit and marparine's door. Maybe he could have had aided. Even thought he knew he was letting himself in the house of a witch as wicked as that of Hansel and Gretel, or perhaps even worse. But why hadn't the witch captured him too? In the meanwhile, the door opened slightly, and through the crack the old woman slipped her long hooked nose and peeked outside. "What do you want, you smelly louse?" But weren't witches fond of eating children? Why was this one calling him a smelly louse? Gampy couldn't understand this. Perhaps he was wrong and the old woman was a witch. So he begged her, "I want my friend back. Let him out, please. Your friend is big and grows enough to decide what he wants to do on his own. And I really don't think he wants to leave. He wants to have tea, don't you, darling?" Then she asked, looking back inside. As an answer, there was an incredible gurgle, like the drain pipe of a sink being emptied. It was Lumpi drinking. No, actually, guzzling blue raspberry syrup. "And what can you do?" the old woman asked, talking to Gampy again. I can clean, and I can do the washing up," Gampy answered without thinking it through, because he remembered that the witch in the fairy tale kept Gretel as a kitchen maid. "Oh, then come in, your little pimpy spider." Gampy was definitely hurt. He felt that if he was a dragon, he would have breathed gray smoke rings from his nose. No, actually, black ones. He just had two tiny pimples on his chin, brought on by eating too much chocolate, and the witch there called him Little Pimply Spider. Mom too often called him Little Spider, because he was thin, with long arms and legs, but coming from her, it was a completely different thing. A loving nickname that felt like a kind caress. old woman pulled him rudely by the arm and dragged him into the cottage. Then she locked the door with two bolts and 4 turns of the key, while Gampy's stomach did a somersault. But this time it was because of fright. He calmed down a bit, seeing his dragon friend grinning and full of food, holding his pretty paw over his full stomach, looking satisfied and happy. Lumpi greeted with a rather impolite bark, then grabs the last slice of pie, crying out, "It's the best that I ever eaten. It's a pity you aren't hungry. You have no idea what you're missing. Lumpy, you're staggering. Stop it, you greedy dragon. You're going to feel awful later, and your liver will swell to the size of watermelon," Gampy scolded. All these words, the old woman went to raptures and crowded, clapping her hands. "As big as a watermelon, yes, how wonderful, how delicious." And she suddenly changed expression, pointing a crooked finger towards the dragon's head. She hissed, "Gall and scabies, toad and rage, you're ending up locked in a cage." Instantly, out of nowhere, there appeared iron bars. They closed around Lumpi. Poor Lumpi, shutting him in a cage where he couldn't even manage a tiny smile, despite the witch's beautiful rhyme. On one of the bars, passing an inch from his nose, cut in half the last slice of pie the dragon was still holding between his paws. Then blue rings of smoke started coming out of his nose, the unmistakable sign of pure terror, as our usual dragon expert know. Gampy had no more doubt. The old woman was a terrible witch. "Free my dragon at once," he cried then, instantly grabbing the bars and trying to pull them apart with all his might. The witch let out a long, shrieking laugh. "Don't be ridiculous. Those are medical titanium bars, and I've got no intention of freeing your little friend. I won't free him, but I will feed him." 1001 Mori, the Container Lamp Money. What's that supposed to say? Looks weird. And saying this, she brought a few boxes full of raspberries, blue raspberries to be exact. And it says lamp, something like that, in front of Gampy and order, "Make more raspberry syrup, raspberry pudding, and raspberry tarts at once. Here are the recipes." She handed him an old, quirky book. Lumpi, despite being a prisoner at the sight of all those blueberries, stopped blowing a terrified puff of blue smoke. "And feed the dragon with all of that," the witch went on. "I'll be the one to eat. He. What must I cook for you?" Gampy asked, convinced that he was supposed to cook lunch for her too. "Oh, I look after myself. It's delicate and dainty dish I want to personally take care of and prepare with my own hands. He. That's a spiteful giggle didn't do any good, and Gampy said, "What will you eat?" "Raspberry-flavored dragon liver, of course," the witch answered, rubbing her hands with satisfaction. At the words, Gampy felt himself trembling like a jelly, and Lumpi went pale with terror. He was now a very pale blue dragon, creating huge blue smoke rings. When your dragon has eaten the right amount of blue raspberry, his liver will become as big as a watermelon with raspberry flavored, the witch explained. And you will eat it? But why?" Gampy simmered, petrified. "Because raspberry flavored liver is as delicious to me as chocolate to you," the witch answered. "And now to work." And Gampy was made to mix wait, and cook blue raspberries together with all the ingredients in the witch's recipe. And in the meantime, he was thinking to find a way to save his friend. That evening, Lumpi was forced to eat all the raspberry delicates that Gimpy had prepared, and wasn't hard because he liked them so much. The witch said, "Slip one of your claws through the bar." And then Lumpi stretched out his claws. She mumbled, No, your liver isn't ready yet. This fat paw is still yellow. When you're blue down to your claw, then your liver will be raspberry to perfection." In that, Gimpy had an idea. Not a very creative one to say. The truth is because he did what Gretel did in the well-known fairy tale. He gave Lumpi a chicken foot and urged him, "Remember, whenever the witch says, 'Give me your paw,' you hand the chicken foot to the old woman is half blind. She won't notice." Lumpi nodded his big head. He would do whatever his friend told him. Gimpy felt better and safer. If the old woman behaved like one in the fairy tale, he would behave like Gretel. And at the right moment, he would throw her into the oven that she was planning to cook the dragon's liver. And he asked the witch, "Have you killed lots of dragons? Have you eaten lots of raspberry-flavored livers roasted in ovens?" "Unfortunately, no," the old woman confessed. "You know, dragons are very dangerous beasts because they breathe flames. And fire is very dangerous for us witches. For example, Hansel and Gretel, which, as you certainly know, ended up being burned in her own oven. This can't happen to me because I like raw raspberry-flavored livers with a sprinkle of cheese and a squeeze of lemon, pepper, and ginger. No oven, sweetie pie. Don't count on it. He she ended laughingly, spitefully, as she had read his thoughts. Gimpy was disappointed, and he felt even more desperate when the witch added, "With your little friend, I don't have anything to fear because he breathes those ridiculously useless cold flames." That was true. And at the top of it all, it was his fault. It was Gimpy who had imagined Lumpi that way, a dragon breathing cold flames, so as to make sure he could play with him without running the risk of burning himself. That night, Gimpy didn't sleep, but towards dawn, he had an idea. So when the witch ordered him to prepare the usual raspberry treats, he did it with glee and great effort, and prepared much more than he had been ordered to. "Good boy," the witch praised him. "Now go and see if that little friend gobbles them up." This time the food was far too much, even for Lumpi, who really loved blue raspberry. He complained, "I can't have any more. Enough, I'm feeling sick." "You must eat it all, Lumpi. Trust me, it's important," Gimpy urged him. "I can't take it. My stomach burns and I feel like being sick." "Perfect." Gimpy was pleased and obeyed the dragon to gobble all the blue raspberry jelly and the leftover slices of pie. Crunch, munch, crunch, munch. "I don't see what the perfect about it is. I'm feeling so sick," the dragon protested with his mouth full, spitting blue raspberry while he talked. "Did you see those red flames? Yep, they're fire. Swallow up and trust me. I know what I'm doing," Gimpy whispered. At the end of the meal, the witch approached the cage and said, "Slip a claw of your paw between the bars." Lumpi was feeling so terrible that he even forgot to slip the witch the chicken foot. Uh-oh. Seeing his claw, she shouted delightedly, "You're ready! This is the bluest claw I have ever seen. Your liver is super raspberry." "Super mushy, you mean," the dragon complained. Then, as the witch opened the cage to kill him and wolf down his raw liver, ew, Lumpi simply couldn't hold it any longer and threw up boiling flames that hit the witch slap on target. All the remains of the horrid witch was a pile of smothered ashes. What happened? Lumpi asked, astonished. That what I was hoping, Lumpi shouted happily. It worked! Too many cakes, too much heartburn, and finally your flame burned too. Oh really? That's what happened? Of course, I'm the one who imagined you this way. But I'm feeling so sick. But you're alive and we've so pulled off the trick. Lumpi tried to smile twice for the rhyme and for his freedom. However, it looked more like he were grimacing in pain. Then Scampi hugged him tight and kissed him on his neck, saying, I love you, you greedy dragon, you. Then Scampi whipped up some nice warm lemonade and told Lumpi to drink it and wait for him to feel better. All those blue raspberries in his stomach. Lumpi wasn't quite sure to take off yet. And he finally felt better. The small dragon said, I can fly now, but I can't serve right again yet. That's not a problem, Scampi said, assuring him. We came here by flying straight. We'll get home by flying straight back. So Scampi and his personal dragon, or PD to be exact, got home safe and sound. As soon as they landed, Scampi went back to bed. He was really tired. And when Mom came back to tuck him in, he was already half asleep. There's the book of Hansel and Gretel. See it? Feeling better now, little spider? Mom asked him, stricken. Did the warm lemonade help you? I'm feeling much better, Scampi said, yawning. But I have to give Lumpi the lemonade because he was feeling very sick. You know, he ate too many blue raspberries. Really, poor him. And where is he now? I had to send him away. You know, when he gets heartburn, he becomes very dangerous. You mean he throws up boiling flames? Yep. You know, you must tell that dragon to be more careful. He is really too greedy and ravenous. And then, yes, I know. I'll tell him. For sure. Nighty night, Mom. Nighty night, Scampi. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, and hit the like button. And I'll see you next time.